welcome to the Formula E Zone show. We're here in Berlin after the Saturday race. Joining me is a very good friend who hasn't been on a show for such a long time. It is Tobias Bluhm from E-Formula. How have you been, buddy?
Good to see you. I've been really, really good, actually. I mean, it's been really such a long time since the two of us have been on the podcast.
Yes.
And now in front of a camera, it's all different here.
Yep.
But it's really, really good to see you. And thank you for having me. It's an honor, really.
Yeah, we got a loud truck cleaner in the background, so if you hear a bit of background noise, that's what that is. But let's start with this man here, Lucas Di Grassi. Third place in qualifying. I mean, I had a sneaky feeling, right, even not knowing what would happen with Tech Cheetah, that Di Grassi could have had a chance for a win today. And by God, did he attack that race. The strategy with attack mode was perfect. Talk me through Di Grassi's race. How impressed were you?
I was impressed, but not unexpectedly. I mean, Audi have been around for such a long time in Formula E, and by now they're sort of coming near operational perfection. That's always been the credo of the likes of Mercedes, for example. But Audi have a good team as well, and their strategy has been on point today. And as you touched upon, attack mode was key today to win the race. Something odd, someone might say. Only one activation, lasting for 8 minutes, and that has a huge effect on tyre degradation, tyre temperatures initially and then tyre degradation, and Audi managed that perfectly, while others faltered under increasing temperatures.
Yeah, and René Rast he was huge. He benefited early on, going from 12th to 2nd, fell back to 9th, but that just showed how powerful it was because he went early, and then because he went early, other people had it and he was able to lose those positions, but still net gained 3 places. But that just showed how powerful attack mode was if you got it right.
Absolutely, and especially here in Berlin. I mean, it's a track where it's relatively easy to overtake. There's a couple of opportunities down into turn 1, maybe turn 5, turn 6. I'm talking about the current layouts of the Saturday layout. Yeah. Different numbers tomorrow, but so many overtaken opportunities. And if you have attack mode, I mean, it's a huge advantage. And someone was going to do something unexpected.
Yeah.
And Rust was one of those who took attack mode relatively early, and that promoted him up into 2nd position, and then of course he dropped like a stone once everyone else activated their attack mode. But hey ho!
Yeah, let's move on to Tech Cheetah, because that's one team I wasn't expecting. Obviously a front row lockout. The qualifying pace was there. We thought this is Tech Cheetah evolved. Right? Dominating the front 2. Antonio Felix Da Costa getting up from Group 1 into Super Pole, qualifying 2nd. And it just was nowhere in the race. They just ran out of pace, ran out of tyres, interestingly.
Yeah, and it's been a theme all season, pretty much. Tech Cheetah have always been great in qualifying. That said, I was surprised by Antonio Felix Da Costa making it into Super Pole from Group 1. And I think few people down this paddock were expecting him to qualify for Super Pole from Group 1, but Tech Cheetah have always been really, really good in qualifying. But when it comes to the race, their race pace was limited by tyre degradation as well. So it wasn't really... I mean, it's hot. I mean, it's 30 degrees here. I'm from Germany. It's sort of okay for me, but for you, it must be sweltering.
I'm coping.
Especially with the shirt on, long sleeves and everything. But
it was hotter yesterday. It was hotter yesterday.
I think I even got a bit sunburned on my head. But hey ho. So Tech Cheetah have always been good on their qualifying pace, but the race pace hasn't been great since they introduced their new powertrain, and we saw the same theme today again. Great in quali, but so-so in the race.
Yeah, so let's hand over to Antonio Felix Da Costa to tell us more about his race.
Yeah, just struggled a little bit with race pace. You know, our powertrain is very efficient, and that's not the issue at all. But we did struggle a little bit with setup. To be honest, just the car balance was very hard to manage, and then that compromises a lot of other things, tire management, even energy itself, but coming from balance. So yeah, we knew the balance was gonna be tricky, but I guess we got caught out, and yeah, very hard to manage it, and both cars just ended up going rearwards.
So obviously the balance, I assume, from qualifying, because obviously 1 and 2 must have been good. So why is the balance from qualifying so different from qualifying to the race?
It's a very well, you cannot, if you oversteer for 1 lap, it's fine, but if you oversteer for 40, you're obviously going to kill your rear tire. So basically, that's what we have.
Okay, so we've hopped it into the shade now, getting our way of that sweltering sun. But there's one person I want to talk about, and it's Jake Dennis behind us, because wow, what a season he has had. Like, if we go back to the start of the season, he had that sort of Formula E rookie thing where it was slowly, he was behind Gunther a little bit, but he's come on so much. And even in today's race, you know, he was getting his elbows out and fighting and putting on, and that stuff we didn't really see from Jake Dennis at the beginning of the season. And yeah, just how impressed have you been with him and how he's progressed from the start of the season to where he is now?
You know, usually the thing with rookies in Formula E is they take some time to get used to the championship, and then at some point, something clicks. And usually that happens after about 1 season. For Jake, it happened after half a season. And ever since his victory in Valencia, he's been on top form. He's been superb in London and today as well. Qualifying just outside the Super Pole positions in group qualifying. He also started from Group 1 and I think qualified 7th, so a couple of hundreds of behind the Super Pole drivers. And then in the race showed good pace. I think he finished 5th, didn't he?
Yes.
Yeah, really impressive race and really mature race at that as well, which is always something he's impressed me with, his maturity in the BMW.
Yeah, I just think he's come on so much, and you can see that now. He's a proper championship contender, and being fastest in practice 1, fastest in practice 2, going into tomorrow, he's got to be on top form, thinking, this is my championship to win, maybe.
He is a championship contender. We have to say it as it is. He's a rookie and a championship contender, which is something that hasn't really happened since season 1, to be honest. There have been a couple of really good rookies, don't get me wrong. Felix Rosenqvist comes to mind, for example. But ever since then, I mean, René Rast was really good last year, but he joined too late at Audi here in Berlin in 2020. And René has been great as well, and he still is one of the championship contenders as well. There's so many of them.
Yes.
But Jake is one of the more impressive ones this season, certainly. Yeah.
Definitely. Right, let's go and hear what Jake Dennis had to say about his race today.
It's been a good day overall. We can't deny that. We've had the pace from lap 1, obviously from FP1. So it's good that we've managed to exploit the good setup in the car, and obviously I'm driving pretty well. So we've just managed to have a clean day. Not perfect, obviously. We caught traffic in qualifying, which compromised Super Pole. But I think tomorrow we just need to try and have again another good day, hit the ground running, and then work our way through that.
And obviously, the reverse layout is something obviously completely different for you. How have you prepared for that? Do you think the car will be as competitive as it was on this layout as it would be on the reverse layout?
I hope so. It's yeah, that's all I can say. Obviously, I've done all the simulator work to prepare myself as well as possible. It's worked out well today, but it's going to change things tomorrow. You know, the reverse is definitely different. It shouldn't change itself all that much. I just need to make sure I learn the circuit as quickly as possible.
And then attack mode, obviously today, attack mode was a huge role. Obviously there was only one, which is the first time ever in Formula E we've only had one, and it made a real impact on the race. If you have one again tomorrow, and obviously we had the safety car that came out early, is predicting when the best time to use attack mode going to be the key to win the race tomorrow, because as it was today?
Yeah, definitely, yeah. You know, the attack mode is one of the biggest opportunities the driver gets to move forward, and especially here, it makes such a big difference, and it's quite easy to overtake if you have it. So compared to a car which doesn't have it. So yeah, that's the engineer's job. I just drive and just do what they say, but to a certain extent. But yeah, we just need to see how the race plans out. You know, it makes a big difference if you start at the front or if you start at the back. So yeah.
So we've hop-tailed it to Jaguar. They had a sort of a mixed race today. We'll talk about Sam Bird first, obviously. It's just, I don't know what it is with Sam Bird. Every time a championship comes knocking, something happens which kind of knocks him out of this title contention race. He's now, I think, 17 points behind. He stops not far from us on the start, finished straight. He didn't tell me exactly what the problem is. He said they were investigating it, but I don't know if you've done any legwork and seen if you found out what it could potentially be.
I mean, they haven't told me either, but I listened to his team radio in the moment he retired. And the display apparently said it was an RESS or pretty much the battery. Yeah. The Rechargeable Energy Storage S, whatever the second S stands for. And that usually has something to do with the insulation of the power lines in the back of his car. So the motor cut out, it's usually just a security measure. There isn't any danger usually, but there might be. So you have those two red lights, or LED lights. One is red, one is green. And if the light is green, you can touch the car. His light was red, so the car ground to a halt. And there was no way he could change anything about it. He tried 2 recycles of the car by literally control or deleting it, and it didn't work. So he retired the car, and he was the only one actually retiring from today's race, sadly.
And the rest is normal, because you see that in a lot over the past couple of seasons. When a car does come to a halt, normally the driver does shout, "Oh, rest," and that's what it is. And it normally is just a battery. It is normally related to the battery maybe overheating, but he did take a knock. We have to remember that. In I think it was lap 1. He got a hit to the back, so whether or not that had anything to do with it.
And also, we're pretty late in the season as well. So McLaren, of course, they are the battery suppliers together with Achieva, and they have been working on the batteries all season. But we're coming to the 15th race of the championship, so they've been taking quite a couple of hits by now. And maybe it's an issue that's, I wouldn't necessarily say wear of the battery is the main reason for it, but it could be one of many.
One of many. And Mitch Evans then, obviously fifth podium position or 3rd place. So Mr. Consistent in terms of 3rd. He's not too happy to have that title to his name though from the press conference. But again, a solid race. And I suppose consistency is the most important thing. We go into every season of Formula E saying you need to be consistent if you want to win this championship. And Mitch Evans has been consistent, and that's why he's got a real shot tomorrow of winning this.
He does, yeah. I mean, he won't be happy with that title of being Mr. 3rd position. I think only Nick Heidfeld and Andre Lostra have more 3rd position results than him. But I mean, it's points. It's valuable points. 15 points each time. And now he's legitimately one of the contenders for the championship. Recently extended his contract. I don't know if there's a better present to give back to your team than winning the championship.
Exactly. Right, let's go and hear from both Mitch Evans and Sam Bird. How do you go about now making sure that you maximize your Group 1 lap tomorrow?
It's all about that, really. I think at our current pace, it's going to be tough. We need to find a bit of speed, to be honest. Like Antonio and DS have got some serious pace, so they were able to make it work. Drake almost made it work. So it's possible. It's definitely possible. And even last year, Antonio made it work. I couldn't. So I need a little bit of some miracles tomorrow to make it work. And we'll be working like hell tonight to make sure we try and find that extra 0.2, 10th and a half. So and that's what we need.
How different do you think? Because obviously we're not on the same track, so you've got 2 practice sessions tomorrow. How do you think the reverse layout suits the Jaguar? Does it suit it better potentially, or same, or worse potentially?
Pretty similar, to be honest, just because the corners are still the same. The layout, the surface is the same, so the car's gonna have to need the same sort of balance to be quick. So yeah, I don't think it's going to be much difference between the 2 layouts, just who can get it more comfortable with the particular layout as quick as possible. So, yeah, let's see if we can be strong tomorrow.
Unclear as to what the failure is right now, so don't want to speculate. But had a big sort of hit from the back and everything shut down. So, big shame because it was looking like we were going to score some points today. How many, I don't know, but the pace was very strong at that stage and really saving some good energy. So yeah, bit of a disappointment. But look, we're in a great place in the teams, Mitch in a great place in the drivers, and we go point hunting tomorrow.
Do you think your championship hopes, I think you're 17 points back now, do you think it's pretty much over, or do you think anything can still happen?
It's Formula E, anything can happen, but look, it certainly makes it more difficult. I'd have to go and win the race and get pole as well, probably, in order to do something. But yeah, you never know in this championship. You never know. I'll never give up. You guys know that. So I'll pick myself up tonight. Tomorrow's a new day. Have a good sleep and come back hopefully and just fight. That's all we can do.
Okay, so we're finally back in the shade. I'm happy about that. So we have to talk Venturi. What a race, because we were talking about Venturi before and especially the struggles Norman Nato's had with his energy and good results going away. But today was a pure example of what can be achieved by both drivers. Obviously, Mortara getting the podium, Nato just missing out, but still a valiant effort for fourth.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, we've not really seen that sort of pace or luck from Ventura. I don't know what it is, but especially compared to their powertrain customer, Mercedes have been nowhere today, and Venturi has gotten all the glory, and rightly so. Norman Nato, especially, I'm happy for Nato as well, because there have been a couple of instances this season where he was in third position and ran out of energy a lap before the checkered flag. I don't know what that was down to, whether it's a team error, whether it's a driver error. I literally have no idea. We'll have to go and ask him about it. But finally, that was the moment I was talking about. Something clicked today for Nato. And he drove a mature race as well and finished fourth. Yeah. Decent points, his best finish of the season. Might be coming a bit too late, though.
It might be coming a bit too late if rumours are to believe that maybe a certain Lucas Di Grassi could be joining this team. And after today's performance, I'm pretty sure Di Grassi will be quite happy to be joining them, considering that they were behind him. But there's still plenty of things to go. And if Nato is to keep that seat at Venturi, a performance like that, and if he can back it up tomorrow, he's like, look, I'm getting the hang of this now. Give me another shot. I think I deserve it.
Yeah. But that would be an incredibly difficult decision for Susie both to make. She had the line of argument last year when deciding to drop Felipe Massa, that one car was always scoring the points and the other one wasn't. And the same theme can be seen this season. Edo Mortara has been huge this year. He's second in the championship, ended up second in this race as well. Yeah. Almost won the thing. And Nato, a really decent points haul. 12 points is more than he scored in any other race this season, as I said. But yeah, he's still the second driver, obviously.
And he has to back it up tomorrow because one, you can't just have one good performance, right? You have to back that up. And if he can back that up tomorrow, then surely for Nato, then he's got some sort of look. I have shown glimpses, at least, you know, Massa showed glimpses. We can't take that Monaco podium away from him. But it wasn't as consistent as Eduardo Mortara. At least Nato has been there, but there's been problems, whether his or his own, that have stopped him from getting those big results before. So it'll be interesting to see what happens. And we've got Norman Nato ready for you now. So let's hear what he had to say.
Yeah, it was quite a strong race for us. Managed to keep my position at the start and at the beginning of the race. We were all like trying to under-consume because, you know, this is a track where the energy management is not easy and it can have an impact at the end of the race. So at the beginning of the race, we're all trying to stay in the slipstream and try to under-consume. That's what I did. Worked pretty well. Then we went for the attack mode, and yeah, we managed to do some position, and we went P1 and P2 at this time with both cars. And after that, yeah, we didn't really manage well, I would say, in terms of strategy, and we were just looking at the front, but we're not looking at what was happening at the back. And basically, we didn't protect ourselves from Mitch, and yeah, so we pay that because at the end, like, he was under attack mode, I was not, and you know, on this track to defend, it's nearly impossible. So yeah, I have the feeling that yeah, we should have been on the podium. Well, we clearly had the pace to be on the podium, or maybe even better, and we didn't. So it's frustrating.
Did you think? Because obviously at turn one, Mitch was just about to run out of energy, attack mode, sorry. And you defended him and you kept that position going into that. So did you think, because he had run out of attack mode down into turn 6, so did you think it was job done at that stage? You kept him behind, or were you expecting him to dive down at you at turn 7?
No, I knew it's going to be difficult. Like already for 2 or 3 corners I was defending. At some point, I know Mitch is a smart guy, so he's not a guy who dive bomb. But when you are in the car and you have the attack mode and the other guy doesn't have, you have to go for it. So I knew he's gonna try it, and that's what he did. I've been defending for a lap already, which I was quite surprised because I was like, yeah, on this track it's pretty easy when you have the attack mode to pass. But at some point, as I say, I cannot risk and put everything on the table and say, well, I will defend. I don't want him to pass. I prefer to crash. So no, this is not my mentality, and I just did my best, but it was just not enough. So it's a mistake in the strategy today, which cost us the podium.
Okay, the last team we've got to talk about is Mercedes. And I feel like today was a day that they were set to take advantage, right? Maybe not so much with Nyck de Vries because he was in Group 1, But with Stoffel Vandoorne being in Group 3, everybody thought, oh, right, this is where Vandoorne comes in and puts in a challenge for Superpole. But it didn't happen. And that is the worrying thing for Mercedes, remembering that this team hasn't signed up to Gen 3 yet. And if they're not getting the performances, or if they're struggling a little bit, does that throw added doubt into Gen 3 whether they sign up? Who knows?
Yeah, I mean, it's not a decision anyone in the team will be making. I think they would all love to continue in Formula E. So that's not their decision to make. But you're right. Everyone was expecting more from Stoffel Vandoorne. FETV asked me actually last week, who is your pick for champion? And I said Stoffel Vandoorne's going to take it. After today, I think I'll have to change that, because I don't think Stoffel has too much of a chance today, after today, to win the title tomorrow. He finished 12th today, which is still better than his teammate, Nyck De Vries. He had a technical issue early in the race. I think, was it a puncture?
Yeah, De Vries had a puncture.
He had a puncture. Came in early, finished 22nd, lap down. It's a day to forget for Mercedes, and it sort of felt like the low spell they had towards the middle of the season. They had a really strong start and then dipped down into the lows of the performance.
Yeah, it's just one of those, isn't it? Like, you expect so much from Mercedes, especially the strong start to the season, as you said, that they had, and they have dipped. And then, but when it's going wrong, it's going wrong. It's like Stoffel can't catch a break. You think London was a huge chance for Vandoorne, and he gets taken out by Roland. A mistake in qualifying must have been down. I did ask Stoffel, but he was just like, we didn't cook it together. But to be the slowest in Group 3, to be behind Nyck De Vries, who was in Group 1, you can only put it down to just a sloppy lap, really and truly.
And especially for Nyck De Vries, you have to be sorry, because he scored no points, as I said, 22nd. But all the others didn't score too many points either, so he's still leading the championship.
Which is amazing.
And he scored nothing today, and will have to do it all over again from Group 1 tomorrow. I mean, he would have been hoping for his rivals to score decent points, so that he at least gets to start from qualifying Group 2 tomorrow. But no, he's still leading the thing. He's still, of course, theoretically, he'd be the best placed driver to win the championship. But it's difficult from Group 1. That said, though, he has shown how to qualify for Superpole from Group 1 just a couple of weeks ago in London.
And it was shown today, pretty much, with Antonio Felix Da Costa and Jake Dennis. Jake Dennis, even though he didn't get into Superpole, just outside, I think it was 7th in the end. And, you know, that shows, well, if you can get the lap right, then you've got a chance. And that's so important for these Group 1s, drivers in Group 1. Qualifying is so important tomorrow. You can win or you can lose your championship hopes in qualifying tomorrow.
I wouldn't say it's more important than the race, because you score the big points in the race. But I think tomorrow is going to be the most important qualifying session of the year. You can lose a championship tomorrow in qualifying. You might not win it, but you can lose the championship tomorrow in qualifying. So the pressure is really high. It's high stakes tomorrow. I'm just so much looking forward to seeing it.
I'm looking forward to seeing it too. Let's hear from Stoffel Vandoorne and Nyck De Vries.
Well, it's quite simple. We just messed up in quali with our tire preparation. You know, I think we didn't get the tires working in the right window, and especially on a track like this with, you know, this special surface, it's just very costly in lap time. So you know, we both found ourselves at the back and made our life a lot more difficult today during the race. Afterwards, the race, I think, was very good. We had very good pace, but when you're starting that far back, it's, you know, you can only recover that a certain amount. And we gained 10 positions. The pace was pretty good, but there was no it was pretty much the maximum from where we started.
Yeah, how was your race? Because obviously we didn't see a lot of it on TV. Attack mode was really powerful today. Did you find that in your race as well? Did that help you gain most of your positions?
Yeah, I mean, it was different today, obviously, because we only had one attack mode, 8 minutes long. So it's a bit different in terms of managing the tires as well for that long. And a lot of people seem to probably struggle with their rear tires. And I think we stayed quite calm, didn't really try and push too much in the beginning, and then made some progress towards the second half of the race, let's say. I think we were actually one of the quickest cars on track, which was promising, and good. We just need to sort out our qualifying position, and then we'll be in the mix.
We need to manage it well from our point of view. We will, analyze what we did wrong today, and ultimately we just need to do a better job in executing and putting ourselves in a position to have a good shot. And hopefully we will we'll manage that better tomorrow, and then being able to fight for it tomorrow.
Well, Tobias, that's pretty much it. That's all we've got. We have to talk about tomorrow. Oh,
we have to. Yeah.
it's the season finale. I can't believe it comes down to this. I can't believe there's so many drivers that can win it. Every position someone overtaken from 8th to 7th. That could be what causes someone else to be a champion or causes that person to be a champion. It's going to be an absolutely crazy race. We're going to be dialing in the numbers, doing all our maths tomorrow. What do you expect tomorrow? It's got to be carnage, right?
Yeah, possibly, yeah. As I touched upon earlier, it's really high stakes for everyone still in the hunt for the championship. And I've spoken to drivers who've dropped out of the hunt for the championship today, and they are so disappointed. Ollie Rowland, for example, he was devastated that he's not in contention for the championship anymore. He's expecting tomorrow to be a sad day.
Yeah.
Because of course he's leaving Nissan by the end of the year. That makes it even sadder for him, but he was devastated that he doesn't have a chance to win the championship anymore. For all others, there's especially it's so difficult to pick any favorite in this because there are so many variables that we don't know about yet. So much can happen. I have no idea who to pick for the championship title. Do you have any favorites?
Well, if I was to pick someone now, I'm going to ask you as well, right? So think of someone, right? I'd have to go for Jake Dennis, right? And I know that's a rookie championship, but you cannot deny what he did today. FP1 fastest, FP2 fastest. I know it's on a slightly different track tomorrow, okay? We're doing it in the reverse layout. But that pace that BMW showed, his race pace, his race craft, I think if there's a man to beat tomorrow, it's Jake Dennis.
I think it's going to be Nyck de Vries. I think the championship leader will somehow find something in practice that makes him go fast in qualifying. And then I do trust the Mercedes powertrain. We've seen that today with the Venturis. They used the same hardware. And I think Nyck de Vries has a good chance of winning this. I think Stoffel Vandoorne is a bit too far back by now. It might be one of the Venturis, which would be a shock, to be honest.
Would be a shock. Well, Mortara.
Imagine Edo Mortara being the champion. I mean, I would
No
love
one
that. I would love to see that.
Love it.
He's such a nice guy. He would deserve it so much. He's given so much love to Formula E, so he would deserve the championship, just like any other of the guys here. But I'll have to pick someone, and I'm picking Nyck de Vries.
I was going to say, even with Eduardo Mortara, no one at the beginning of the season would have said a Venturi would be winning the Drivers' Championship.
Absolutely not, no.
So we'll just have to wait and see, Tobias, right? So, thank you so much as well for being on.
Thank you for having me.
Really enjoyed it. And we'll see you tomorrow then to find out who will be world champion on Sunday evening. Goodbye.